Welcome to your practice. This is an uplifting sequence for the hips. We're just going to dive right in. Prop-wise, only things that you might want around are blocks, maybe some bolsters towards the end for Shavasana, or you could always use furniture at home. So we're going to start seated with the shins crossed. And if you feel like you need to boost yourself up onto the edge of a blanket or a bolster, please do. And go ahead and sit with the left shin in front of the right. And you may notice that I've walked my feet out towards their opposite knee. I've also kept a good amount of space between the legs and me. So not feeling like you have to pull them in super close. All right, then we're going to start leaning forward. So you're just going to do a slight hinge at the hips and bring the fingertips to the ground, palms to the ground. And we're going to take a few breaths on this first round. Settling in and then targeting muscle called the piriformis. And you're going to stay low in the fold, but we're going to add a side stretch. So you're going to walk towards the right knee and stretch out a little bit more through those left fingertips. And back through the left hip. This first round, we're just easing into things. See how the hip, the low back, that lumbopelvic area feels. At least for me lately with lots of computer work and hours on my bike, this whole area feels a little bunched. And you're going to keep going to the right into a side bend. So the right fingertips are palm to the ground, somewhere outside the right hip. And then open the chest up, take that left arm overhead and lean over to the side. Good. Anchoring that left hip down. And then staying in the side bend, you'll drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Let that left arm float down by your side, the palm turn down. And as it comes down, imagine it weighs about 20 pounds more than it actually does. So it pulls the spine up with you, but you keep your right ear tilted towards the shoulder. And if you want to move that left arm around, you might go out a little bit in front of you or behind you, a little higher or lower. You can make small adjustments with the head. And then coming all the way up and switching the legs. So get the right shin in front of the left. Adjust what's underneath you, and then we're going to start by folding down the center. So hinging forward, fingertips or palms to the ground. A few breaths across the back width of the pelvis. And then staying soft and low, you're going to walk over towards that left knee, stretching out a little bit more through the right arm as you ground back through the right hip. And take another breath up and down that right side. And then keep walking over to the left. Take it into that side bend. So grounding the left hand or fingertips. Right arm reaches overhead. Opening up that right waist as the left side gets shorter. A little compression. And you're going to drop your left ear to your left shoulder. That right arm weighs more than it actually does. It's going to start to float down by your side and pull the spine up, but keeping your head tilted to the left. And if it's interesting or useful, you can move that right arm around almost like a, call it a gold digger. Is that what it's called? No, metal detector. Yeah, gold digger works. This is what happens when you're from Florida. You're kind of searching though as you move that arm for little pockets of gold along the right side of the neck. All right, come all the way up. Switch the legs again back to that first cross, left shin in front. Now we're going to move through it with the breath. So you're going to take a breath in and then exhale, lean forward. Take a breath in and then exhale, walk over towards that right leg. And take a breath in. Then exhale into the side bend. Good. Inhaling here. Drop the right ear. Exhale, float that left arm down as you lift the spine. Take a breath in. And then exhale, release, and switch the legs. Good. You don't have to be exactly with me. When you're ready, inhale up through that tall spine. Exhale, hinging forward. And inhaling in the fold. Exhale, walking to the left on that diagonal. Good. Inhale to pause, fill the back of the lungs. Exhale into the side bend to the left. Good. Inhale to reach. And then exhale to come up with that neck stretch. Left ear to left shoulder. Good. And inhale in the stretch. And then exhale to let it go. We're going to do each side one more time. So switch the legs. Left shin in front. Take a breath in. Lift out of that low back. Exhale, leaning forward. Good. Inhale to stay in the stretch. Exhale, walking out to the right on the diagonal. Good. Inhale to stay. Maybe you crawl those left fingertips forward a little bit more. Exhale into the side bend right. Good. Inhale, opening that left lung, left ribs. Exhale, coming up into the neck stretch, right ear heavy. Good. Inhale, stay. And exhale, let it go. Okay, switch the legs. I'm going to flip around. Take a breath in, lift out of the low back. Exhale, leaning forward. Good. Inhale, pause. Exhale, walking to the left. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, side bend left. Good. Inhale, stay. Exhale, coming up with that neck stretch. Inhale into the stretch. Exhale to let it go. Release the legs and roll all the way down onto your back. Setting the feet on the ground and then crossing your right ankle outside your right thigh. Good. And take the first moment here. You can use that right hand and press that right leg away from you. Pressing a little lower on the leg so you're not pressing on the knee, but more pressing on the thigh. Good. And then keep the legs where they are, but interlace the hands behind the head. We're going to add a little bit of core, lower core, upper core. We're going to start with the legs. You're going to take a breath in and then exhale, lift the legs in towards you without the hands. And then you inhale and set that left foot back down. And exhale, bring the legs in. Good. 3 more. Inhale, lowering down. Exhale, lifting up. Try to keep the spine in neutral the whole time. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. Last one. Inhale down, soft landing. Exhale in. And then inhale the foot back down. Legs stay as they are. Now the upper body does the lifting. So you take a breath in. And then exhale, lifting the head, the neck, the shoulders. Good, inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Good, inhale down. Exhale, up. 2 more, inhale, lower. Exhale, lifting, head's heavy. Inhale, release. Last one, exhale, lifting. See if you can peel those shoulder blades up a little higher. And then inhale down. All right, last one, everything's gonna come together. So you're gonna take a breath in, exhale, lifting the legs and head, neck, shoulders. Maybe you try to tap your elbows towards your shin. And then you inhale and everything touches back to the ground. You get a little pause. And then exhale, lifting. Think about going up both with the tailbone and the shoulder blades. And then inhale back down. 3 more. Exhale up. And inhale, release. Last 2. Exhale up. Inhale down. Last one. Exhale, lifting. Inhale to let it go. Good. Release the legs. Maybe give a few windshield wipers or a pause to flutter the lips because you know we're going to do it on the second side. All right, and then crossing left ankle outside right thigh. Start with the stretch. So use that left hand, press the thigh away from you. And then release the pressure of the hand. You're going to keep the legs where they are. I like hands behind head because otherwise my shoulders and my neck try to help out too much. So just the legs, 5 rounds. Take a breath in. Exhale, lift the legs in towards you. Good. Inhale, release. Okay, as you're doing this, you exhale and lift. Imagine that the legs weren't actually touching and you could strongly externally rotate that left leg. Good. Inhale back down. You try to keep the shape of the legs as best you can. Exhale, lifting. Inhale, lowering. Last 2. Exhale, drawing up. Inhale, drawing down. Spine is neutral. Last one. Exhale, lifting. Exhale, returning that right foot to the ground. Good. And then keep the legs where they are. Go to the upper body. Heavy head. Take a breath in. Exhale, lift. Good. Inhale, lower. Exhale, up. Good. Inhale, down. Exhale, lift. Really think about going up, not in. Good. Inhale, release. Last 2. Exhale, lifting. Inhale, releasing. Final 1. Exhale, up. Heavy head. Relax the jaw. And inhale, down. Okay, last round. Everything lifts. Take a breath in. Exhale, lift the legs and the head, but think about curling the tailbone and the shoulder blades up. Good. Inhale, set everything down with control. Exhale, drawing up. Inhale, settling down. Exhale. And inhale. Last 2. Take your time with these. Try not to tug on the head. Last one, drawing up on that exhale. And down on the inhale. Good. Release the legs, release the arms, maybe a little windshield wiper one more time. And then find your way to tabletop, to hands and knees. You might go ahead and put blocks towards the front of your mat, just in case you want them as we get into our flow. All And then from tabletop, curl your toes under and stretch back into a child's pose with the toes curled under. You can really press the hips back to the heels and stretch those arms. You might even walk the hands a little further forward. Good. And then you'll inhale back through tabletop, but then keep the hips and the thighs moving towards the ground. It's like an upward facing dog on the knees, and roll those shoulders back. Good. And then exhale, pulling back from the pelvis, from the belly, toes tuck under, and child's pose. And if you found, like me on that up dog, I need a little more room, you might walk the hands further forward. Then you'll inhale forward, uncurl the toes, drop the hips, the thighs, roll those shoulders back. And then exhale, drawing back, tuck the toes, get that stretch for the soles of the feet. Good, a few more, take it on your own. If you want to add anything, sometimes in that upward dog, I like to look over one shoulder and then the other. As you draw back, you might shift your weight side to side. Finding your cadence with these, starting to get a little bit of flow into the body. And the next time you come forward into that upward facing dog, instead of going back into the child's pose, you're going to curl your toes and head back into the dog pose, into downward facing dog. And probably the first dog, at least the first one we've done together. So you might take the feet a little wider, or hands a little wider. You want to bend and sway in any way. Good. And then keep the feet where they are and walk your hands back to your feet into a forward bend. And then coming up halfway, bend your left knee and twist to the right. Draw the top of that right thigh back, bend the left knee as deeply as you need to. And take a breath in, find that big wingspan, and then exhale, lower the right hand down. Now bending the right knee and exhale, twist to the left. As you bend that right knee, the left thigh goes back, turning the rib cage. And then exhale, release. Folding over those two straight legs, maybe a little sway. Good. And then walk yourself back to dog pose. And then inhale forward to plank. You keep the feet wide and exhale to the ground. And maybe you use the knees for this first one. And then interlace the hands behind the back, knuckles or thumbs. Go ahead and draw those arms back. Lift the chest, lift the head. And then internally rotate the legs. So the heels go out, the toes come in, and then lift the legs. So those inner thighs are rolling up a little bit more. You feel those outer hips engaged. Take another breath in, let everything lift. And then exhale, drawing down. Hands under the shoulders, pressing up through tabletop or plank, and drawing back to down dog. Feet wide again. Walk your hands back to your feet. This time you're going to swing those heels in slightly, toes out, and come down into a squat. And if you need a block or a couple blocks underneath the pelvis, you can get those upper arms to slide down in between the knees. Give a little squeeze of the legs into the arms, and the arms resist back into the legs. Let that help lengthen the spine. And one more breath, drop the tailbone, lift the crown of the head. And then release the arms, straighten the legs, swing those heels back out and fold over the legs. Good. With soft knees, roll up to standing. Stacking the vertebra. Head lifts last. And then walking to the front of your mat. And maybe having those blocks at the ready. Standing tall, arms by your sides. Inhale the breath, arms up. Exhale the breath, forward bend. Good. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Good. Inhale to standing. Again, just establishing your breathing cadence. Exhale, hands to center. Good. Inhale the breath, arms up. Exhale the breath and fold. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, hands to center. Again, inhale the breath, arms up. Exhale the breath and fold. And inhale halfway. Maybe you want your blocks for this. We're going to step the left foot back, fingertips or palms on blocks or to the ground, and just pause in your lunge. Feel that long diagonal reach of the spine. So as that left heel presses down and back, your spine goes forward, head goes forward, but then there's a little feeling of scrubbing the hands or the fingertips back to get the chest open. Good. Another breath. Think about that right thigh dropping low from the hip crease. Good. And then push off the back foot, step forward, and fold over your legs. Good. Inhale all the way to standing. Exhale, hands to center. Second side. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. And inhale, lengthen. Right foot back this time. Grounding the hands, the fingers on something. Get low in that left thigh from that hip crease, feel it drop down, and then press the right heel back and down, reach the spine forward, head forward, and then scrub the hands back. Good. Roll the inseam of that right leg, the inner thigh, up towards the ceiling, inhaling. And then exhale, push off that back foot, step forward, and fold. Good. Inhale to standing. Exhale to center. Okay, 2 sun A's to warm things up a little bit more. Inhale the breath, arms up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And then back to down dog first. So you might move those blocks out of the way, unless you like using them. Good. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale all the way down or part way if you feel warm enough. Inhale into your back bend of choice, cobra, upward dog, that locust variation. And then we'll meet in the downward facing dog. Good. Take a full breath cycle in your down dog. And looking forward, take a breath in. Exhale the breath out, then walk, step, or hop the feet forward. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Good. Inhale, standing. Exhale, center. Just like that. Inhale the breath, arms up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, back to down dog. Maybe stepping back with the opposite foot this time, if you can remember. Probably the one that doesn't feel so natural. Inhale, forward to plank, and then your choice. Lowering part way or all the way. Inhale into your back bend. 1 breath in. And then exhale, drawing back to down dog. All right, this time from down dog, you're going to inhale that right leg up. You're going to open the hip with the leg straight first. So engaging that right outer hip, keeping the leg straight. Imagine you had a sandbag on that leg and you're trying to resist the sandbag as you lift it up. And then if you want, bend the knee, roll the hip open. Good. And then straighten the legs, square the hips out, and you're going to come into a shallow pigeon pose. So you're not going to go quite as far forward as you normally would. We're going to stay lifted a little bit higher. So you're going to walk the left leg back. I like a block under that right hip. And see if you can get yourself in a place where you can come all the way up with the spine. And then take the arms out wide. Wrap your right arm under your left for eagle arms. And then lift the elbows. Squeeze the arms together. Move the hands away from your face. Good. And then release the arms. Hands back down. If you're seated on something, move it out of the way. And we're going to try to go back to down dog with the figure 4 legs. So you're going to lift that left knee. Cross your right ankle outside the thigh, and then move back to dog pose. Good, then free that right leg, lift it up towards the ceiling and open the hip again. And then straighten the leg. We're gonna step the foot forward for warrior 2. So spin that left heel down, come all the way up, stretch the arms, drop into that front thigh. And then several times you're gonna inhale, straighten the leg, reach the arms up. And then exhale back into that deep warrior 2. Good, inhale to lift. Exhale down. Good, inhale up. You're riding up an elevator. Exhale, settle. One more, inhale up. Exhale down. And then bring your hands to your hips, straighten that front leg. You're gonna keep the front leg in strong external rotation, but let that back thigh, if it's not already, slightly rotate in. And then the hips are gonna go out to the left, and you're gonna lean over that right leg for triangle pose. Hopefully you have a block close by or something to ground the fingertips or the palm. And instead of taking the arm straight up towards the ceiling, we're gonna reach it overhead. So swing it down and then forward and overhead. Anchor the legs in the pelvis and then turn from the rib cage to look under that left arm. Good. Externally rotate the right arm, scrub the hands, the fingers back. Anchor your tailbone, take a breath in. Exhale, stay, firm back thigh. Good. And then inhale all the way up. Bending that front knee deeply back into warrior 2. Good. Inhale to reverse. And then exhale, hands down, down dog, and then your choice. Pause in dog, take a flow, or rest in child's pose. And then meeting in down dog, we're gonna inhale that left leg up. You're gonna keep the leg straight as you open the hips. Imagine that heavy sandbag on the leg, press up against that weight. And then if you want to bend the knee, open the hip. Good. And then straighten the leg, square the hips out. You're going to come into that shallow pigeon pose. So not as far forward as you would normally go. You can ground the left knee. You can slide the leg back. Maybe grab a block. Slide it under the left sitting bone. Lift the spine up. Take the arms out. Left arm under right. Eagle arms. Lift the elbows, hands away from the face, squeeze those arms together. Good. And then hands back to the mat. Slide that prop off to the side if you're using it. We're gonna go into the down dog with the figure 4 legs. So you're gonna lift the right knee to even get that left ankle outside right thigh and move those hips and thighs back. Good. And then straighten the leg, open the hip, bend the knee if that's enjoyable. Good. And then moving towards your warrior 2. Left foot steps forward. Spin that right heel down. Stretch the arms out. And then many times inhaling up and exhaling down. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale to settle. And again, inhale up, exhale down. Last one, inhale, riding that elevator up, exhale, riding that elevator down. Then hands to hips, you straighten the front leg. Remember, back leg stays slightly rotated in, hips swing out to the right, and then you lean out to the left. If you've got your block, you can put the hand on the shin, but try not to lean your weight down. If anything, imagine the shin was pressing back into the hand. Then we're gonna take the right arm overhead, but instead of going up and over, swing it forward, down, and overhead. And then anchor those legs and let the rib cage in the chest turn to the right. Stretch out through that right arm. Ground back through that left heel. Roll the left shoulder back. If you're really bendy, drop those front ribs in a little bit towards the navel and then turn. Good, breath in. One more breath out. Then inhale back up to your warrior two. Exhale, bending that front knee. Inhale to reverse. And then exhale the hands down. Down dog first, and then choose. Maybe down dog to stay. Maybe you move through a flow. Maybe you take a little rest. Good. Okay, drop the knees. Come over onto your back. Let's bring a block. Let's bring both blocks. So put your blocks at the front of the mat for your feet. And if you don't have blocks, you'll just skip the blocks. And then you're gonna cross your right ankle outside your left thigh. Arms are not a part of this, so you could reach down and grab the edges of your mat. You could put hands behind your head, take them out to the sides. We're gonna press down through that left foot and lift the hips, trying to keep the hips level. If you're grabbing the mat, you can pull the mat apart, roll those biceps up towards the ceiling. Try to keep that right leg in external rotation, but focusing more on the hips being level. So that right hip's gonna wanna drop. Can you lift it just as high as the left? Good, and then lower back down, right foot down. Cross your left ankle outside your right thigh. Get ready. I don't know how you can do that other than sheer willpower. Press down through that right foot, lift the hips. So you can get that left hip just as high as the right, but keep that leg in external rotation. Pull the mat apart, roll the biceps up. Good, stamp down through that right heel. Good, and then slowly lower down. Okay, both feet on the blocks. Last back bend, press down through the heels, lift the hips up, roll the shoulders down. Imagine you could drag the blocks back with the heels. Good, breath in. And then exhale. Slowly lower. Okay, keep your left foot on the block, bring your right knee in, and then come into a half happy baby. And you could grab the calf, the ankle, or the bottom of the foot. But trying to keep the spine in neutral. So what I've been doing lately is actually grabbing the kind of wrapping outside the ankle and grabbing the heel. So my knee has to turn out to the side a little bit. I externally rotate that leg and then lift the foot up versus trying to keep that hip and thigh close into the body. It moves around the pelvis. So you might try that. Reach the hand outside the ankle, grab the heel, and then foot lifts up. And by having that left foot elevated, it might help with the stretch. I find I at least can get a little bit more into that right groin, inner thigh. Okay, left hand is gonna grab the right foot. Imagine you were doing a pigeon but upside down. So that left hand brings the right foot across the body. The right arm kind of scoops up and grabs the shin. So I've got the right knee moving into the crook of my right elbow. Maybe you curl the head and the chest up. You can keep the left foot on the block, or you can stretch that leg forward and let it hover. Maybe lifting a little higher, not yanking on the body, but that right foot is moving in towards you and the right knee is moving away. Good. And then bring that left foot back down, lower the head back down, and one more time go back into that half happy baby. Good. And then release, right foot down, Pause a moment, heels on the blocks, spine in neutral. And then half happy baby on the left side. And you can find your own way into this. But if it was interesting, you might try. So you reach underneath, outside the ankle to grab the heel. So that externally rotates that leg strongly. And then you lift the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. And take a few breaths. Starting to let things slow down a bit, get a little more relaxed around the face. And then we're going to go into that reverse pigeon. So your right hand's going to grab the foot. Left arm scoops up that knee and shin. Foot is moving towards you. Knee is moving away. Then you curl the head and the chest up. You can keep the right foot grounded or extend the leg, hovering. Relax the shoulders. Trying to lift the shoulder blades up, not necessarily curl in so much. Stretch out through that right heel. And then right foot down, head down. And back into your half happy baby one more time. And then release both feet down. And then moving the blocks out of the way. Just use the feet, kind of slide them off to the sides. And walk the feet a little wider than the hips and take several windshield wipers. Whatever pacing you want to go. And then pause. Next time the knees go to the left. Take a few breaths. If you want to put that left foot on top of the right thigh above the knee. And remember that feeling, it's not like it's pushing the knee down, but almost like you're scrubbing out. You're trying to lengthen or unbunch that right thigh from the hip. Maybe counter the weight of that by stretching out through the right arm. And then set that left foot back down if it's stacked. Passing back through several windshield wipers. And then settling on the right side. Maybe stacking right foot on top of the left thigh. Use that foot to lengthen the left thigh away from you. Maybe stretch out through that left arm. And then setting the foot down, lifting the knees, and then bringing the knees in, coming into a full happy baby. So you could grab, just like we did before, wrap the hands around the outside and grab the heels, take the soles of the feet up. Or if you'd rather the more classical variation, that's fine too. Maybe rock a little bit side to side. And then several times you're going to go from your happy baby pose to a Baddha Konasana. So the soles of the feet come together and the knees move apart. And I've got my elbows kind of on the inner thighs to press the legs away, holding onto the ankles. And then back into that happy baby. Soles of the feet up, knees out. Into the butterfly shape, soles of the feet together, knees wide. And find that rhythm that works for you. Last one. And then setting the feet down, scooting the hips over to the right side of your mat. You'll cross the right leg over the left. Take your legs to the left in a twist. And I like to catch the legs with something, a block or a blanket, so I don't feel like I have to push them all the way to the ground. Stretch out through that right arm. Okay, easing back to center. Unbind the legs, scoot the hips over to the left, left leg on top of right, maybe moving your prop, or if you have a second one, over to that right side. Let the legs fall to the right. Stretch out through that left arm. Okay. Finding middle of your mat, middle of your spine. And then we're going to take 2, maybe 3 minutes for Shavasana. And I'd love for you to have your legs elevated on something. So if you have a comfy chair, you're close to a couch at home, I'm going to use the blocks and bolster, make a Stonehenge or that tabletop shape. But if you have furniture, that might be easier. Just swing your legs up onto something, or if you'd rather do legs up the wall, you go legs up the wall. And then rest all the way down. Of course, gather other things if you want a pillow under your head or a little extra support. Set the timer. Get all your wiggles out of the way. Give enough space between the arms and the sides of the body that the lungs have room to expand. And allowing yourself, I know it's tempting to just skip this, but so important to take a few minutes just to feel the residue. Give the body time to soak up its new length of tissues. Give the mind a little space to settle, prepare for what's next. And giving the heart room to breathe, that safe net to fall into. And I'll let you know when it's time to come up. choosing for yourself if you want to stay longer. If you want to end your practice here, just taking a nice slow breath in, a generous breath out. Moving on slowly as you're ready. And thank you for caring enough to do yoga.